Welcome to Art 114. I am Nancy Briggs, your instructor. This is my email. You can contact me. Well, you can write anytime. I reply during the weekdays. I'm in my office most days, so please feel free to get in touch with me if you have questions or need clarification on assignments. I can have a phone conversation with you or an online meeting if that's the best way to help you. So please do ask for help if you need it. That is what I'm here for. I'm happy to help. Okay, the course is designed to provide you with the tools and terms needed to look at and understand art in a historical context. We're going to start in prehistoric art and travel right up to the time period before the Renaissance and, of course, all of the time periods in between. On this journey, we'll examine different cultures and the various types of art they made. We're going to explore how and why art objects came to be, as well as the religious, political, and commercial powers that they represent. Lastly, we're going to look at the influence of art from one culture or time period to another and examine the historical significance of art styles. So how time periods are constantly looking back at how other cultures made things and how they looked and the borrowing of those styles. Okay, the structure. The course is run as a once-a-week meeting. That means attendance is taken once a week, and it's at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday nights. Or that's the due date, actually, and then I take the attendance on Monday. Attendance is based on the work that you submit. You must submit at least one graded assignment to be present for the week. There are several assigned per week, but as long as you do one, which I don't recommend, you should do them all, you will be counted as present, and please note, a reading does not count as a graded assignment. Weekly modules are open on the Friday before at least, and in the summer I really do open a lot of the modules at once. As you'll see this week, all three first units are open, so you can work all the way up until week 3 if you'd like. So you're always welcome to work ahead. Week 3 has a test. I will open that early, and then we'll open week 4 ahead, etc. So we'll just keep going, a rolling early open. But first, of course, you have to take the entry verification quiz. You won't be able to see anything in the course. You see this video, and then you take the quiz. That's all you can see until you get a 70 or above on this quiz. This is for all online courses. If this is your first online course, this is something that needs to be done right away, or you won't see anything in the course. If you've taken the quiz in another online course, you still need to take the quiz. It is the same quiz, but you do need to take it again for my class, okay? Coastal does not consider you officially present in the course until you take the quiz, so you have to take it or you are subject to withdrawal for no-show if you don't take it by the census date on the 23rd. Please note, this does not count as my weekly attendance. There's a whole weekly unit or a module that is due for me after you take this quiz, okay? The types of assignments we have, MindTap is the platform we use with the textbook. We have Gardner's Art Through the Ages. It's a very good textbook. Lots of colleges use it. It's very professional. So for each chapter, there is a chapter test or quiz and an image quiz. So 2 quizzes per chapter, other than the intro only has 1. And you'll take all the ones that are assigned, and those collectively are worth 25%. The 2 lowest are dropped. Weekly discussion boards are 15. Chapter tests are 15 collectively, so both tests together. There's a midterm for 15. Assignments and written projects, which I'll start week 3 or week 4, are 10%, and then the final exam has 3 parts. That is worth 20%. I sent this out to you. It's on our first module, so go ahead and look through this again. If you need to plan things again, you can always work ahead, and we do have a summer break scheduled at the college. So, say you work way ahead, you could very well take 2 weeks off. So, plan your time. Again, you can work ahead, but you cannot work behind, okay? If you want to go ahead, so this is week 3, you want to go ahead and work into week 2 and then 3, and then I'll open the test week 3 early, and then you can start in week 4. That is fine. That's great with me. You can even get to the end of the course a week or 2 early. However, you must do the work that is due for the week, right? So you can't jump to week 3 and do some assignments and not do week 1. This week is week 1, due. That's what is due, and that's what will not be accepted late, okay? I do not accept late work. It's tied to attendance and other assignments for the week, and it's a fast course. There's no reason to keep going back, and it's a terrible learning experience if you're doing something that, we've moved on for. The discussion board will no longer be valid, et cetera, et cetera. So I do not accept late work. You can work ahead, but do not work behind. Attendance, other than the weekly thing that I do, the college has a policy for this chart here. If you miss 2 weeks in a row, you will be disenrolled on the second week. If you miss 2 not in a row, it's on the third one. This equals 14 days. That's the difference. This is 14 days in a row, and this is 14 days not in a row, okay? So that's just the coastal policy, all right? If you are withdrawn, reinstatement is a possibility. However, no makeup work will be allowed, because wouldn't that be a nice little loophole around the late work policy, right? And it's not a given that you'll be reinstated. I'm just going to say that. If you've missed a whole bunch of things, if you've missed 2 weeks, that means you've missed a whole bunch of assignments you can't make up. So we'll have to look at your grade if that's something you're interested in doing. Just do the work is my policy, please. Okay, discussion boards. You'll have a prompt that you will answer in a written form, paragraph, proper grammar, and it should be college level. It will apply the week's readings, okay? And then after posting your own response, you'll be able to see other posts, and you'll reply to 2 students for each discussion, and those have points associated with them. Your replies and your posts should all reflect that you've learned something about the topic, okay? So even your replies should extend the conversation with additional relevant information. Likes, rephrasing, or just agreeing will not earn full points, okay? You can like something or rephrase it, but then you should add something that you've learned, okay? So something like, I agree with your point about ... I also read ... okay? So you're adding something to the conversation. Think of it as an in-class discussion where you wouldn't just say, cool, and get away with it, okay? Please do not treat these discussions as social media. They're academic conversations, please, okay? So the first discussion asks you to introduce yourself. Of course, you can be social and say, respond to them like whatever they wrote, congratulations on graduating or something like that. But then you should talk about the topic, the written topic for the discussion board. Okay, how to succeed. I don't know anybody who likes to take tests, so I've tried to alleviate a lot of test anxiety with a few things. So each test you are responsible for the information in the textbook, and I do have lecture videos that are there to help you, okay? They are not required. Some are a little long, some are much, much shorter, but they are me presenting the information for the course to enhance it, to clarify it, and to stress and make connections of things, okay? So I feel it might be helpful if you at least take a look at them, because textbook is just a bunch of pages and you don't know really what's going to stand out, okay? I have other ways of helping you with this, but I feel like my lectures might be the direct way to get the information. They are not to replace the textbook, but they will certainly help you on tests, okay? So the 2 tests, midterm, final, are all open notes. So for each chapter, there are images that you're responsible for, and those are on the test review sheet. The best way to prepare for exams is to use the test review sheet, and those are already posted, or it's all the same one, I should say. It's the same exact list, I just put it a whole bunch of places. And you should be taking notes as you work through the chapters. To make it easier for you, I've also posted images from the review sheet. Those are on a slideshow, so you can edit it and take notes right on the slides. So you'll have the images with your notes. You can put the date, the time period, whatever the review sheet says you should know, right? And then the terms that apply. I probably stress that in my lectures a lot. And then you could use those as your open notes, okay? It's not meant to trick you. It's meant for you to cover the information. And then on the tests, you're going to apply this stuff, okay? So here's an example. It's not actually color-coded on your units, but the blue is the reading that you'll do. The green are the assignments that you're going to do. These are the MindChat quizzes. Okay, and then here is the discussion board. And then these yellow things I've highlighted, that's the review sheet. Those are all the terms and things you need to know. And then my lecture video, if you'd like to use that, but do use the slides. I think that's the helpful thing. As you're reading through the chapter, if you don't want to watch my videos, you can take notes right on them and use that. So then you'll have the images and words, right? Because it's an odd thing suddenly to have a visual exam, okay? All right, please note, open note tests are not the same as using AI or looking up information. I do design the tests so that you're applying, interpreting, and making connections to show an understanding, not just memorizing names and dates. I'm not interested in you memorizing exact dates especially. I do not need you to do that. You refer to big time periods like Egyptian. You don't need to know 2000 BCE. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's going to the internet is not hopefully the first thing that you do. You should have open notes, okay? You will be given a 0 if any of these platforms are used, especially plagiarism. And of course, do use spelling and grammar check. That is also always welcome and encouraged. Okay, other tips. Do the readings. Guessing is not knowing. You can very well guess on these MindTap quizzes. You can take them as many times as you want till you get to 100. However, if you get to try 10, maybe go back and read the chapter and see what you're missing. You're kind of wasting your time just guessing and guessing and guessing. I know it seems like an easy way around it, but it's not going to help you on the tests, the discussions, and the assignments, okay? I do encourage you to use my videos or take notes. Those aren't graded, so do what you think you need to do, but I do encourage them. They're there to help you. Do your best on all assignments. That means college level work. Do all the work for each week. Even if you marks you as present, you only did one thing, you still will need this information for the tests, okay? So you're going to have to go back and digest the information somehow. You might as well get the credit for it, I think. All right, and work ahead if you know you're going on vacation, or just if you want to, go through the class as fast as possible. You can't get to the end right away, but you can get a few weeks ahead at a time. Okay, so this Sunday, due at 11:59 p.m. on May 25th, you are going to, of course, take the entry verification first. Then you're going to, there's a whole unit on materials, but I kind of covered all that if you want to just glaze over it. Read the introduction in the textbook and chapter 1. Take all the quizzes, there's 3 quizzes. Answer the discussion board prompt and then reply to 2 students. And I do suggest that you start taking notes as well. Okay, lastly, I do hope you enjoy learning about this. As you can probably tell, I'm pretty passionate about art history. It's a history that's rich in traditions and that it continues today, and it is relevant even to our own country, as new as we are as a country, and as old as these things are that we're going to look at, they still, pop up in our own visual culture. If you've ever been to Washington, D.C., and I'm sure you've seen pictures if you haven't, most things there are based on the cultures, the very early cultures that we're going to look at. We're going to look at later cultures in this course that are still being stolen from in our cathedrals and our architecture. And then, of course, this idea of propaganda and leaders, and this one too, Lincoln, leaders making a statement with what they want their persona to be perceived as their, the people that they are in charge of. Okay, so we're going to keep seeing these things over and over in history, and I hope you find it as fascinating as I do. Okay, thanks.